The cargo ship Lucky Break wasn't supposed to be anywhere near this sector of space. Captain Tom Roberts knew this as he stared at the flashing red warning lights on his control panel. The ship's navigation system had gone completely crazy about 6 hours ago, and now they were lost in an unmapped region of space. "How bad is it, Mike?" Tom called over his shoulder to his engineer, who was buried deep in the ship's navigation controls, tools scattered around him like fallen leaves. "Pretty bad, Captain," Mike replied, wiping sweat from his forehead with a greasy hand. "The quantum positioning system is fried. We're flying blind out here." He closed the panel he was working on and shook his head. "We need to land somewhere and make proper repairs." First Officer James Turner, a tall man with graying hair, pointed at a blue-green planet showing up on their remaining working sensors. "That one looks promising, Captain. Atmosphere reads as breathable, gravity at 1.1 Earth standard. We could set down there for repairs." Tom didn't like it, but they didn't have much choice. The Lucky Break was a simple merchant vessel, carrying machine parts and basic supplies between Earth's outer colonies. They weren't equipped for long-term space drift, and their emergency beacon wasn't getting any response in this empty region. "Lisa, run a full scan of that planet. I want to know if anything's going to kill us the moment we land." Tom ordered his ship's doctor, who also handled their biological sensors. Lisa Martinez tapped at her console, her dark eyes scanning the readings. "Air's clean, Captain. No obvious toxins or dangerous microbes. There's some interesting atmospheric properties I've never seen before, but nothing immediately dangerous. All right, people, strap in. We're going down." Tom grabbed the manual controls, something he hadn't done since his training days. The ship shuddered as they entered the planet's atmosphere, the hull creaking in protest at the unexpected re-entry. Through the viewport, they could see a vast landscape of purple-tinted grasslands stretching out below them, dotted with what looked like metallic structures reflecting the light of the system's distant sun. Tom aimed for a clear patch of ground near one of the structures, figuring it might provide some shelter while they made repairs. The landing was rough but manageable. The Lucky Break touched down with a heavy thud, its landing struts sinking slightly into the soft ground. As the engine's whine died down, an eerie silence fell over the ship. "Everyone okay?" Tom asked, unbuckling his safety harness. The crew nodded, though Anna, their mechanic, was already pulling out her diagnostic tools. "I'm reading normal pressure outside," James reported. "Temperature's about 15 degrees Celsius. We got lucky, Captain." Tom stood up and stretched his back. "All right, here's the plan. Mike, you and Anna figure out what's wrong with our nav system. Lisa, set up a portable lab and test everything you can think of. James, you're with me. We'll secure the perimeter." As they prepared to exit the ship, Anna called out from her station. "Captain, these readings are weird. That structure we landed near, it's giving off power signatures, but they're really weak and scattered." "What kind of structure is it?" Tom asked, pausing at the airlock. "No idea," she replied, frowning at her scanner. "But it looks like it was built by someone. The patterns are too regular to be natural." Tom felt a chill run down his spine. They'd all heard stories about alien ruins, but in 20 years of space trading, he'd never encountered any himself. Most habitable planets were either empty or already colonized by humans. "Stay alert, everyone," he ordered, checking his simple sidearm. "We may not be as alone as we thought." As the airlock cycled and the outer door opened, none of them realized they had just stumbled onto one of the most closely watched planets in the galaxy. The metallic structure near them wasn't just some ancient ruin. It was part of a vast network of artifacts that a dozen advanced alien civilizations had been studying for centuries, trying to unlock its secrets. And now, thanks to a broken navigation system and some really bad luck, 5 humans were about to change the galaxy's balance of power forever, all because they needed to fix their ship. Tom and James walked carefully around the Lucky Break, their boots leaving clear prints in the purple-tinted grass. The air smelled fresh, with a hint of something sweet, like mint. The metallic structure that had caught their attention during landing stood about 50 meters away, its surface dull and weathered. "Look at these markings," James said, pointing at the ground. There were clear paths worn through the grass, like hiking trails on Earth. "Something's been walking here recently." Before Tom could respond, Lisa's voice crackled over their comms. "Captain, you need to see this. My sensors are picking up movement about 100 meters north of your position." Tom raised his hand scanner, adjusting the settings. "I see it. Multiple signatures, moving slow. James, back to the ship. We need—" He stopped mid-sentence. Through the light morning mist, several figures were approaching. They walked on two legs like humans, but their bodies were semi-transparent, like living glass filled with swirling smoke. Tom could see the purple grass right through them. "Nobody move," Tom ordered over the comms. "We've got company." The creatures stopped about 20 meters away. They were roughly human-sized, with long, graceful limbs and heads that seemed to flow and change shape slightly as they moved. One of them held up what looked like a stick and waved it slowly. "I think that's a greeting," James whispered. Tom slowly raised his empty hand and waved back. The creatures moved closer, their bodies becoming more visible. Now he could see they wore simple clothes made from some kind of shimmering material. The one with the stick made a sound like wind chimes, pointing at the lucky break and then at the metallic structure. "Lisa, are you getting this?" Tom asked over the comms. "Yes, Captain. Their language seems to use musical tones, and they're definitely intelligent. They're wearing tools and what appears to be ceremonial decorations." Suddenly, Mike's voice cut in. "Captain, we've got a problem. That structure they're pointing at. It's some kind of water purification system, but it's not working right. These readings suggest it's been broken for a while." The alien with the stick made another chiming sound, more urgent this time. It pointed at the structure again, then made a motion like water flowing from its hands. "They want us to look at it," Tom realized. "They think we're here to fix it." "Should we?" James asked. "The prime directive doesn't exist, James. That's just in old movies," Tom replied with a small smile. "Mike, can you take a look? If it's just a mechanical problem." Mike emerged from the ship carrying his toolbox, Anna right behind him with her diagnostic scanner. The aliens watched them approach, their smoky bodies swirling faster with what seemed like excitement. As they neared the structure, Anna's scanner beeped. "It's actually pretty simple, Captain. Looks like a basic filtration system, just using some materials we've never seen before. The pump mechanism is stuck." Mike opened his toolbox and pulled out a wrench. The aliens made musical sounds of alarm, moving closer to watch. He approached the structure, found what looked like an access panel, and carefully opened it. "Well, would you look at that?" he said, laughing. "It's just clogged with mineral deposits. Basic maintenance problem. Anyone with a wrench could fix this." The aliens watched in absolute silence as Mike cleaned out the mechanism and used his wrench to adjust some fittings. There was a low hum, and clear water began flowing from several outlets around the structure's base. The reaction was immediate. The aliens burst into a symphony of chiming sounds, their bodies glowing with swirling patterns of light. They bowed repeatedly to Mike, who looked embarrassed. "I just tightened a few bolts," he said. To them, "You just fixed what looks like ancient technology," Lisa observed over the comms. From their reaction, I'd say this structure is important to them. Maybe even sacred. Tom watched as more transparent figures emerged from the mist, all of them making musical sounds and glowing with excitement. "Great," he sighed. "We've been here less than an hour, and we've already become miracle workers to the locals." He didn't know it yet, but Mike's simple repair job had just started a chain of events that would echo across the galaxy. The Mist Dwellers, as the crew would come to call them, had just witnessed what they thought was impossible. someone who could wake up the sleeping machines of their gods. 3 days after fixing the water purifier, the Lucky Break's crew found themselves surprisingly busy. The Mist Dwellers, as the crew now called them, kept bringing them broken pieces of ancient technology. Each time, the solutions were surprisingly simple. Anna sat cross-legged on the purple grass, surrounded by curious aliens whose smoky bodies swirled with excitement. She was showing them how to make a basic pulley system using some spare parts from the ship. "See, now you can lift heavy things much easier," she explained, even though they couldn't understand her words. She demonstrated by lifting a large container of water with just one hand. The Mist Dwellers made their musical chiming sounds, their bodies glowing with patterns of blue and gold. Inside the ship, Tom watched through the viewport, worried. "They're treating everything we do like it's magic," he said to Lisa, who was studying her scanner readings. "Can you blame them?" Lisa replied, "Look at what we found out about their history. They've lived among these structures for thousands of years, treating them like sacred objects. Then we show up and start fixing everything with wrenches and simple machines." Mike entered the bridge, wiping grease from his hands. "Captain, they've brought another broken device. This one looks like some kind of food storage unit. The cooling system is stuck." "Another repair job," Tom sighed. "Mike, we need to fix our own ship too." "That's the funny thing, Captain. While we're helping them, they're bringing us materials we can use to fix the Lucky Break. Those metal alloys they have, perfect for patching our navigation system." Outside, Anna was now demonstrating a wheel and axle system she'd built. The Mist Dwellers watched in amazement as she moved a heavy crate across the ground with ease. Some of them tried to copy her design using materials they'd brought from their settlement. "They're learning," James observed, entering the bridge with his Dedivad. "I've been recording everything. You should see their settlement now. They're already using the pulley systems Anna showed them yesterday to carry water from the purifier." A group of young Mist Dwellers had gathered around Anna. Their bodies shifted between shades of green and blue as they practiced tying ropes and setting up simple machines. They worked quickly, their partially transparent hands moving with growing confidence. "We're changing their whole society with basic engineering," Tom said quietly. "All we did was fix a few things and show them some simple tools." "Look," Lisa pointed through the viewport. One of the Mist Dwellers had successfully created a small crane using Anna's pulley design. The alien's body glowed so brightly with excitement that it was almost hard to look at. More aliens emerged from the mist, carrying various pieces of technology. Some looked ancient, covered in strange symbols, while others seemed to be their attempts at copying the crew's simple machines. "Captain," Mike called from his console, "I'm picking up some odd readings from orbit. Might be ships passing by." "Great," Tom muttered. "That's all we need. More complications." But he was too late. Word of the humans' powers had already begun to spread. The Mist Dwellers had been sending out signals, their musical language carrying news of the miraculous visitors who could wake the sleeping machines with nothing but simple tools. In their excitement to learn and share, the Mist Dwellers had unknowingly broadcast their experiences to several listening posts hidden throughout their star system. Posts belonging to advanced alien civilizations who had spent centuries trying to understand the very technology that Anna and Mike were fixing with basic tools and engineering knowledge. As the day ended, Anna taught the last group of Mist Dwellers how to use a simple lever to move heavy rocks. She had no way of knowing that in various parts of the galaxy, alien scientists were watching recordings of her demonstrations with a mixture of shock, disbelief, and growing alarm. To the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, humanity had just proved itself either incredibly powerful or unbelievably lucky. Either way, everything was about to change. 1 week after their emergency landing, the Lucky Break's crew noticed something strange in the sky. 3 large ships appeared in orbit, their designs unlike anything they'd seen before. "Those aren't human ships," James said, staring at his console's readings. "They're huge. Each one is bigger than an Earth cargo station." Tom stood behind him, watching the sensor displays with growing concern. Any hostile movements? No, Captain. They're just watching us. Mike rushed onto the bridge, his face pale. Captain, you need to see this. The Mist Dwellers are going crazy. They're all gathering around the ship, glowing brighter than we've ever seen. Through the viewport, they could see hundreds of the transparent aliens forming circles around the lucky break. Their bodies pulsed with waves of color, and their musical language had risen to a symphony of chimes and bells. Lisa, what are they saying? Tom asked. Over the past week, their doctor had made some progress in understanding the aliens' tonal language. Lisa adjusted her translator program. It's hard to tell, but they keep repeating patterns that mean great ones and masters of the ancient ways. I think they're trying to protect us from something. Suddenly, a new sound filled the air. It was deep and resonant, like giant tuning forks being struck. The Mist Dwellers' music changed in response, becoming more urgent. Multiple ships landing, James reported, 3 kilometers east of our position. There, Captain, these energy readings are off the charts. Tom made a quick decision. Everyone stay calm. Mike, seal all the engineering logs. Anna, hide your tools. James, start recording everything. Lisa, keep working on translations. Whatever's coming, we need to understand it. The crew watched as 3 sleek vessels descended from the clouds. They were beautiful, their hulls shimmering with colors that seemed to bend light itself. As they landed, the Mist Dwellers' protective circle around the lucky break grew tighter. Movement from the ships, James said. Several beings are approaching. The new aliens were nothing like the Mist Dwellers. They walked on 4 legs, their bodies covered in what looked like living metal. Their heads housed multiple eyes that glowed with inner light. Behind them floated what appeared to be clouds of pure energy in roughly humanoid shapes. Captain, Lisa whispered, my translator is picking up their communications. They're using some kind of universal language matrix. And, oh no. What is it? They think we're some kind of advanced scout team. They're calling us the Awakeners. They think we've mastered the precursor artifacts that they've been studying for centuries. Tom looked confused. The what? All those broken machines we've been fixing. Lisa explained quickly. They're part of a huge network of ancient technology spread across this sector of space. These aliens have been trying to understand how they work for hundreds of years. But we just fixed some pumps and gears, Mike protested. Basic mechanical repairs. They don't see it that way, Lisa said. To them, we waltzed in and casually repaired technology they consider almost magical. And now, she paused, listening to her translator. Now they're debating whether we're representatives of the precursor civilization itself. The alien delegation stopped at the edge of the Mist Dweller circle. One of the metal-covered beings stepped forward and made a series of complex gestures. The energy beings swirled with patterns that reminded Tom of the northern lights on Earth. They're requesting to speak with the Awakeners of the ancient ways. Lisa translated. They're asking about our mastery over precursor technology and our intentions in this sector of space. Tom looked at his crew, then back at the assembled aliens. What they'd thought was a simple emergency landing had just become a first contact situation with multiple advanced species, and somehow they'd accidentally convinced them all that humanity had godlike technological powers. Well, he said quietly, this should be an interesting conversation. The meeting room aboard the Lucky Break was never meant to hold this many beings. Tom sat at one end of the small table, surrounded by his crew. Across from them, 3 different species of aliens tried to fit in the cramped space. The metal-covered beings, who called themselves the Watchers, had to crouch to avoid hitting the ceiling. The energy beings, known as the Drift, floated near the walls, their forms rippling with patterns of light. 2 Mist Dwellers stood in the corner, their bodies glowing softly. Let me get this straight, Tom said, while Lisa's translator converted his words into various alien languages. You think we're what exactly? The lead watcher made a series of clicking sounds. Your mastery over the precursor artifacts is unprecedented. Lisa translated. In mere days, you awaken systems we've studied for centuries. We must know your secrets. Mike raised his hand nervously. Actually, I just used a wrench. The water purifier was clogged with mineral deposits. Basic maintenance, really. When Lisa translated this, the energy beings pulsed with what looked like disbelief. One of them spoke in waves of light that the translator converted to words. Such humility. Lisa read. To call such mastery basic maintenance. Truly, these humans are either incredibly wise or incredibly cunning. Anna tried next. No, really. Look. She pulled out her toolbox and took out a simple wrench. This is all we used. No special technology. Just regular tools. The aliens studied the wrench with their various sensing organs. The watchers scanned it with complex devices. The drift beings passed through it with their energy forms. The mist dwellers chimed excitedly. Fascinating, the lead watcher said through the translator. They have disguised their advanced technology as primitive tools. Most clever. James put his head in his hands. We're not disguising anything. We're a cargo crew. We just know how to fix mechanical things. But every protest from the crew only seemed to convince the aliens more. When Tom tried to show them the ship's repair manual, they treated it like a sacred text. When Mike demonstrated basic gear mechanics, they recorded it as if he was revealing universal secrets. Captain, Lisa whispered, they're discussing something in multiple languages at once. From what I can pick up, they think we're being clever by pretending to be simple merchants. They believe it's some kind of test. The lead watcher stepped forward, nearly hitting his head on the ceiling. We have conferred with our governments. We wish to establish formal diplomatic relations with your species. We're not diplomats, Tom protested. We need to contact Earth first. Get actual representatives here. Ah yes, one of the drift beings pulsed. You wish to consult with your hidden empire. Most wise. Tom looked helplessly at his crew. Everything they said was being interpreted as either deep wisdom or clever deception. The more they tried to explain things, the more mysterious and powerful the aliens thought they were. The mist dwellers suddenly began chiming in their musical language. Lisa's eyes widened as she translated. They're saying we're guardians of ancient knowledge, she said. They're telling the others about how we taught them to use simple machines, saying we're sharing the wisdom of the ages with them. But it was just pulleys and levers. Anna protested. The watchers and drift beings became even more excited. The translator struggled to keep up with their overlapping communications. The humans teach fundamental universal principles. They guide lesser species to enlightenment. Such generosity of wisdom. Tom looked at the star chart on the wall, wondering how they'd gotten into this mess. A simple emergency landing had somehow turned them into mythical beings in the eyes of multiple alien civilizations. Captain, James whispered, what do we do? Tom watched as the aliens continued to debate their supposed godlike wisdom. We keep trying to tell the truth, he said. And we pray that Earth's real diplomats get here soon, before we accidentally take over the whole galaxy by showing someone how to use a screwdriver. 2 more alien ships arrived the next day. These ones brought diplomats from species called the Ring Builders and the Star Shapers. The Lucky Break's small meeting room couldn't hold them all, so they set up a large tent on the purple grass outside. They want us to sign what? Tom asked, staring at the glowing document floating in the air before him. Lisa studied her translator carefully. It's a treaty. They're recognizing Earth's claim to this entire star system, especially this planet. They're calling it the Realm of the Awakeners. Mike looked over her shoulder at the strange symbols. But we don't want a planet. We just needed to fix our ship, which is apparently almost ready. Anna added. The materials the Mist Dwellers gave us were perfect for the repairs. The lead watcher stepped forward. Surely you understand our position. The translator converted his clicks and whirs. Your species has shown mastery over precursor technology that we've studied for millennia. You must be given proper territory and recognition. One of the ring builders, a tall being that looked like flowing crystal, chimed in. We have seen how you uplift the Mist Dwellers, teaching them the sacred principles of mechanical advantage. Such wisdom must be respected. Tom tried one more time to explain. Listen, we're not advanced beings. Earth isn't a hidden empire. We're just good at fixing things because we had to learn practical engineering to survive on our colony worlds. The Star Shapers, who looked like clouds of starlight in roughly humanoid form, pulsed with what the translator said was amusement. See how they maintain their humble facade, even now when we offer them glory. James had been quiet for a while, reading through the translated treaty. Captain, he said suddenly, you might want to look at this part. It's actually not bad for Earth. Tom read where James pointed. The treaty didn't just give Earth the star system. It offered trade rights, technology exchange, and diplomatic relations with 12 of the most advanced civilizations in this part of space, all because they thought humans had some special connection to ancient technology. If we don't sign, Lisa whispered, they might think we're hostile. They're scared of what they think we can do with these artifacts. Look how nervous they are. She was right. The alien diplomats were watching them anxiously, their various forms showing signs of stress. The Watcher's metal coating rippled uneasily. The drift beings flickered rapidly. Captain, Mike said quietly, maybe we should sign. Earth's real diplomats can sort out the misunderstanding later. Right now, these aliens are ready to give us everything because they think we're super advanced. If we keep refusing, they might decide we're a threat. Tom looked at the Mist Dwellers, who were watching with glowing anticipation. In just a few days, their simple society had advanced decades, thanks to basic human engineering knowledge. Maybe this wasn't such a bad thing after all. All right, he said finally. But I'm adding a note that this needs to be confirmed by Earth's official diplomatic corps. The aliens were overjoyed when Tom signed the treaty. The Mist Dwellers burst into musical celebration. The Star Shapers released waves of beautiful light into the sky. Even the serious watchers seemed to relax. What happens now? Anna asked as they watched the aliens celebrate. Now, Tom said, looking at the signed treaty, we wait for Earth to send real diplomats and try not to accidentally conquer any more planets by fixing their plumbing. But as the alien ships prepared to depart, carrying news of the treaty to their homeworlds, Tom couldn't help but wonder, what would Earth make of all this? Their simple cargo crew had just gained humanity its first major alien allies, a new colony world, and a reputation as technological mystics, all because they knew how to use a wrench. 3 weeks after the treaty signing, the Lucky Break's crew stood in their newly repaired ship, watching as 5 Earth diplomatic vessels descended through the atmosphere. The sleek ships landed in a perfect formation on the purple grass, their hulls gleaming in the alien sunlight. Think they'll be angry? Mike asked, nervously adjusting his uniform. The crew had spent hours cleaning up and trying to look more official. They might be, Tom replied, until they see what we've actually accomplished here. Through the viewport, they could see the changes their accidental landing had brought. The Mist Dwellers had built a small town around the ancient water purifier, using the simple machines Anna had taught them. Pulleys lifted building materials, wheel and axle systems moved water from the purifier, and levers helped them move heavy objects. More alien ships hung in orbit, representatives from 12 different species, all waiting to see what Earth's official response would be. The Earth ship's doors opened, and a group of official-looking people walked out. Leading them was Ambassador Maria Torres, Earth's most experienced diplomatic officer. Well, Lisa said, watching them approach, here we go. The meeting took place in the same tent where they'd signed the treaty. Tom explained everything. The emergency landing, the broken water purifier, the misunderstanding about their technical abilities, and the treaty that followed. To everyone's surprise, Ambassador Torres started laughing. Let me make sure I understand this correctly. she said, wiping tears from her eyes. You accidentally convinced 12 advanced alien species that humanity has godlike technological powers, because you know how to use a wrench. And pulleys, Anna added helpfully. Don't forget the pulleys. The ambassador looked at the treaty again, then at the reports showing the alien civilization's technical capabilities. Do you realize what you've done? These species are centuries ahead of us in most areas, but they're so focused on theoretical science that they've forgotten basic mechanical principles. So, we're not in trouble? James asked carefully. Trouble. Captain Roberts, your crew just handed Earth its first major interstellar alliance, a new colony world, and trade agreements with species that can build ships the size of cities. All because you showed someone how to fix a water pump. Outside the tent, they could hear the musical sounds of the mist dwellers mixing with the various languages of the alien diplomats. The planet that would soon be known as New Earth was becoming a hub of interstellar activity. There is one small problem, the ambassador said with a smile. These species think we're technological geniuses. We need to maintain that reputation somehow. Actually, Tom said, I've been thinking about that. The mist dwellers learned our basic engineering principles in days. Imagine what they could do with a proper education in physics and mechanics. And the other species, they have amazing theoretical knowledge, but no practical experience. We could learn from each other. Ambassador Torres nodded approvingly. Teaching in exchange for advanced technology. Earth gets new allies and trading partners. They get practical engineering knowledge. And everyone benefits. So what happens to us? Anna asked, gesturing to the Lucky Break's crew. Well, the ambassador replied, how would you like to be Earth's first official technical advisors to the interstellar community? After all, you started this. Might as well help us continue the tradition. Later that evening, Tom stood outside the Lucky Break, watching the sun set over what was now officially Earth's first extrasolar colony. Alien ships moved through the purple sky, mist dwellers worked on their new machines, and Earth diplomats mingled with representatives from a dozen advanced civilizations. Not bad, he said to his crew, for a bunch of cargo haulers who just needed to fix their ship. Should we tell them we learned most of our repair skills from old maintenance manuals? Mike asked with a grin. No, Tom laughed, watching an alien ship larger than a city glide silently overhead. Let them keep thinking we're special. Sometimes the simplest knowledge is the most powerful. And who knows? Maybe that's the real ancient wisdom after all.